I'm going to pass the mic to Carla to share anything you've got to share. And again, I do just want to say thank you for being here.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I think my thanks for inviting me. Well, thank you. And it's good to see you. I My experience is probably like a little bit the opposite of yours. You know, I've been out for I think about I don't know 20 years. I think, and it doesn't seem. And I had the experience that you had while I was in high school straight. I had almost the exact same thing that you did in high school. I as straight, you know, I was probably, I think I didn't realize who I was. I knew it was something, especially because I'm a dancer. So I lived in the dance room. I, I found out later why I would literally just be staring at females. And at first, I thought, you know, my mother said I should stare at people a lot. So I should dismiss it. I was like, no, I just stare at people. It's just me. But then it just became females. But I dismissed it not only in high school. Uh, I struggled a lot throughout childhood. Period. You know, I come from a first two-parent household, magazine style household for 12 years, Columbus, Ohio. We had split level house, front yard, backyard, got two new cars every single year. I came from cookie cutter world. And then, so there was I had no idea. And I'm from Ohio. So I didn't even see certain nationalities until I came to California. And I'm from the Bay Area, from Oakland, Richmond, Bay Area. So I didn't see seriously, like I did not see Mexican people, and I saw only one race of Asian people. I mean, ethnicity, just it, and I didn't know where they were from. We had other black people there. They were Haitian. That's the only way I knew there was other people that weren't black people from America. It was them from Haiti, you know. So and no one educated us. No one told me anything else. My education in Columbus, Ohio, oh my God, it was a horrible education, absolutely horrible. But then to couple that with a childhood, like I'm the child of a alcoholic, rest in peace, and my mother was a prescription addict. So, but we still lived in a cookie cutter house. We still had two brand new cars, and no one knew that. No one, nothing on the outside. So I had all that to go on with. So I didn't have time to think about nothing else, except for when I was 12, I did some things that probably would say, yep, you're going to be with girls for the rest of your life. So, but I didn't tell nobody. Nobody knew that. And I still pretended like it did not happen. I was like, oh, no, wait, no, no, didn't happen. So I did the exact opposite, and my mother used to say I was fast. I don't know if I need to tell y'all what all as a matter of fact, all of my relatives said I was fast. They all did. They said I was fast, you know, and I probably was very sexual at a very young age, you know. I don't pretty much like I am a survivor as well, but I don't use that as anything, as I don't need that as a stepping stone. I have conquered that, I have survived that, and I took care of who did it to me. So it's all good, or at least my daddy did. But it's all I didn't use that. You know, I'm not just that has nothing to do with who I am right now at all. I think I've always been a sexual person. Unfortunately, living in a black household with a mother who's from Mississippi, and you know, my dad was just kind of like there. He's the coolest guy ever, but he was just there. He's just really, you know, he whatever mommy said, okay, get from me. But I didn't instead of probably nurturing that sexuality or whatever, because I think it could have been nurtured, it could have been, and maybe into something else other than making it ugly, because what I did is I dove into dance is one of the things that I did. Like I lived in the dance room. To the point where my grades were horrible. I don't even know. I really don't know how I graduated. I don't know. I think they just let me go. I don't because I not only as I was going to school, I started off in, like I said, I came down here I came to California, the Bay Area, when I was 16. So then my eyes started opening up to education. Like I literally went to the school where the Black Panthers marched down the street. So I was like, oh my God. So I still didn't have time to deal with me. I was like, now I'm enlightened in this. I've been in Ohio my entire life, not knowing anything about nothing. So that's what I started embracing. I started embracing my blackness and everything that was black and all that, because that's what I knew. And in between that, like, I dated boys, I had boyfriends, and then I got into a relationship that I probably shouldn't have gotten into a relationship with, but there was a reason for it, and she's 30 years old now, but 35. But I say that had to have been it because it was toxic. It was horrible. It was a bad, bad relationship. We were very, very young, very young to even be in something so serious, so powerful. His life was all screwed up. My life was all screwed up, and then we together. It's horrible. I thought he was an escape because he had a car, and he was a little bit older than me. So I put up with some things that I would not have dealt with. Pushing forward, 12th grade year, I moved away from home because I just convinced myself, but my mother couldn't stand me. I convinced myself because I had a little sister when I was 16 years old. And I felt like my stepfather just didn't like me. So I wrote them a 5-page letter and I left. 12th grade year, left home. Thankfully, I had a friend who I went to school with had already left home, and I stayed with her, and I was thriving. I was very proud of myself. I did what I had to do to make sure that I was in school, and I actually did good the first semester. Then I lost my place with her, and my life got shook up again. Ended up back moving in with my daughter's father. Bad, really bad, because I was truly under his mercy. Whatever, I just had to do whatever. Like, I became a housewife when I was 17 years old. 18 years old. I was in high school when I was 18 years old. So again, I never dealt with what felt good to me. Like, I never. And mind you, by this time, I've seen gay couples. I've seen all of this, and I'm still going like this. Like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. And then also at the time, my mother thought it was a great idea all through high school for me to go to Sunday school every Sunday. I don't. When that was probably not the place for me, because you talk about wild, fast, people doing all kinds of stuff they ain't got no business to go to a Holy Roller church. Not saying they all like that. I'm just saying my experience, unfortunately, was in Kojic hell, because it wasn't. And I don't mean any disrespect to anybody, but that was my experience, and it shouldn't have been like that. They was worried about my sexuality. You need to be worried about them. And I felt that, but I still didn't know how to express that. So I just still creeping. By the time I got to the second half of my senior year, my life could have went entirely different. I could have been all kinds of places that I could have been all kinds of places, but ended up with him. Ended up getting pregnant. I still think he probably impregnated me while I was sleeping. I don't. It's funny now, y'all can laugh. But I think he really did that. And I ended up having my daughter in October of my graduation year. I also lost my father the same year. So I still not dealing with me. By this time, I'm like, well, I got a kid now. I definitely can't. This is my life now. My life went from dance and wrapping myself into this little girl that I had to take care of, and I went into that mode. I didn't still even know how to love her because I had no idea how to love myself. I just was literally existing and existing and existing. And it wasn't until I started working at Sears that I met people that were much older than me who didn't know they turned me out, but they turned me out because they introduced me to a whole life of love. They just loved on me and loved on me and loved on me, and it let me love on myself. And I started to see myself like creep out, but not all the way. It still took me another 10 years to creep all the way out, but I noticed that vocally, and I noticed I was getting stronger. I noticed that I wasn't, I was a defender, and I knew that nobody could take that down, but also knew that I was fighting what I felt like all the way inside, to the point to where I had a second child, and still like, I ain't what I'm trying to do, not doing it. Then I became super mom with 2 kids, doing the thing. I was like, and still went back to school, got back into dance, started performing, ignoring my whole life entirely. Got into black theater where there's not a lot of gay people at, so at least not open and out. So I didn't see. If I hadn't seen it, I'd have probably been out in 1994. I mean before that, but I didn't see them. And it wasn't until like, and this is the craziest, craziest thing. My second daughter's father, he has a. We are truly a story. He has my daughter has a little sister. I call her my sister mom. That's my sister mom. So she took me to a gay club. So we both, and everybody's like, "What?" The baby mama took the baby. Yeah, we went to the gay club. We went to one of the most popular gay clubs in Oakland. When I tell you, I walked in there, two feelings. I was petrified, and then I was awestruck. I was like, oh my, it just even smells good in here. Oh my God. I didn't, and by this time I was 29 years old. I was getting raped, and I just was like, I don't even know what to do in here. Oh my God. And I literally like sit in one place, and she disappeared on me, left me in the club all by myself. Something you don't do to somebody just coming out, because then I was prey. I literally was prey who had no idea how to deal with it. Like I had no clue. Like what am I supposed to do? What I doing to come talk? Oh Lord. And I'm like, you did fine when you was dating dudes. What's wrong with you now? I was terrified, which is why I became prey to my first. That was whose name I still carry. I ain't got it off yet. Yeah, my first did that to me, because we didn't last for 6 months. That's it. But I'm gonna tell you, that was 6 months of, oh my God, I don't know if I learned something, because even still with her, I wasn't myself. I still wasn't myself. I was whoever she wanted me to be, which means that I was able to be as sexual as I wanted to be, because that's what she liked. She liked me to be all like, all like, she loved that. She loved that. And until and when I wasn't that, we weren't good. Needless to say, I was a bad place. And I'm like, I'm not gonna go into this world, a world that I hadn't yet introduced my family to yet, because I met her and I was like, oh my God. Like I literally, when I tell y'all I came out. I went boom. So this is what I'm doing. I ain't wasting my life. I ain't doing nothing for nobody else no more. My daughters were 4 and 10 years old. I set them on my bed and I told them, I said, let me tell you something you probably won't understand. But this is who I am, and I'm only telling you this because people are probably going to say some things to you. One of your fathers might say something to you. I told them for the protection of them, and for that they would know me, and so I didn't have to hide my life. But I still wasn't going to bring nobody around them. I didn't do that when I was dating dudes. So but I still just wanted them to know that. And my youngest daughter, she was 6, not 10. She was 6. She said, as long as you're happy, Mommy. 6. And she's still my fighter. My oldest, she wasn't too happy about it, and I could tell. And she's probably still in an adjustment stage, even at 35. She's still, and that's fine. That's her. I know she accepts me as her mother. I'm her mother. No doubt about it. She accepts me that way. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I told them that my daughter's father, the oldest one, found out, and he was horrible, absolutely horrible. But I understood that didn't come from me saying who I was. It came from him not ever, 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 ever having a chance with me. And because he was absolutely obsessed with me, frighteningly so. Even after getting married, all that, he was obsessed with me. And I could feel like his pain and his anger all mixed into one, you know. So I took it as much as I could. I'm glad my brother was there because I wasn't hearing what he was saying. I wasn't hearing all the ugly stuff he was saying. You know, because I was still in a like, you're not gonna change me. You're not gonna. This is who I am, and I'm still taking care of my kids. There were threats to take my kids away from me. All of that. I mean, I got all of that from one side. You know, my other daughter's father is like, he's amazing. You know, he's like, you know, this is your life. You live your life the way you should live your life. When I told my parents, my my Mississippi mama talked about me behind my back to my sister, but that's okay. She talked about everybody behind their back. So I didn't take that personal either. I didn't. I didn't. I just told her, don't do that. Like, stop. If you want to know what we do, ask me. Don't ask my sister. She don't know shit. Don't ask her nothing. Don't ask her. But my stepfather, oh my God, he was amazing. He was like, I always knew something was different about you. I said, different? And mind you, I had plenty of, you know, no one, to me, no one saw that part of me. Like, I'm like, no, you didn't, because I'm not your stereotypical. I wasn't any of that. I was like, you don't know nothing about me. But my stepfather was of the world. So he, you know, like, straight up San Francisco of the world. Like, he knew, and everything was good, you know, for me. I mean, of course, my relationships were typical first coming out relationships, crazy, probably shouldn't have been in that. But after I dumped my first, I had the best time ever coming out. I really did, because I met even more people. It was almost like the universe was like, I'm going to give you different people at times of your life that you need. I think that you need these people, and I'm going to give them to you. And they gave, I swear to God, each time they gave them to me. And the when I was younger, when I was 19, I had them. And then when I came out, I had them. And I was like, man, if I had known, it was like you said too, well, if I had known that there was people out there like that, I might not have 2 kids and my 2 grandchildren. I might not have them now. You know, so there is that dichotomy of like, oh my God, I wouldn't have them. But oh my God, I absolutely know I would have been on top, out loud, everywhere. But I had to change how I, you know, it's changed how out loud I was. I did that for a little while. And then I moved to, I made sure consciously that I was in a safe place for me and my daughters. And that happened to be Berkeley, California. So, I mean, I had no problem when I go to school. It was no problem, like, as to if I had a partner at the time, you know, because it was okay, you know. And then as my daughters got to high school, then I felt more comfortable bringing who I was with around them, and even to their school function, you know. So, and then we were accepted. Like, it was no big deal. Like, it really was no big deal at all. Like, my hard times, life coming along is not as hard as life was before I came out at all. Like, right now, I can go through. I don't care if it's eviction. I don't care what it is. It's no, because my heart is absolutely free. My mind is free, and my soul sprints like Usain Bolt. So I don't hold back no more. I don't hold back on nothing at all. I don't apologize. Hi, baby. I don't apologize for me. I don't apologize for any of me's, because I'm not the only me. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of me's around, and I don't apologize for it. You know, and right now it's like being a Black gay woman who is, I'm happily married, by the way. Been married 3 years, 2 years. Wait, wait, 2 years. We got married in November of 2017. So she's over there somewhere, and we have a puppy too. She's a badass, though. She just pissed on the couch. So she's back. We wasn't paying attention to her because I was nursing. But anyway, I think I'm happy that I live out loud. I'm happy that I don't quiet it down. Especially right now. That's what I was going to say. Especially now, being a Black gay woman right now. right now.